Well, I'm very excited to be here for the 15th time and looking forward to getting started with our team. Very enthusiastic group of young men who have worked extremely hard over the last 4 to 5 months. They've had some time with the strength coaches over the last 5 weeks, and our staff has finished up recruiting and has got another week or so and we get back to work. But for me personally, I'm really excited about our football team. I'm excited about getting back out there and working the young men and getting ready to play a game. We all kind of sit around after March Madness and wait for college football in the state of Oklahoma, so we're not far away. Our staff has been tremendous with the addition of a few new coaches. I'm excited about what they've brought to the table, the cohesiveness and chemistry we have with them, and our recruiting office and the hard work they've put in over the last 3 or 4 months. And I'm more excited and looking forward to a season than I ever have been before in a long, long time. So just can't wait to get started.
Okay, questions for Coach. We got a question in the middle, right here in the front, and then we'll take one towards the rear. Name and affiliation, please.
Hey, Coach. Ian Boyd from Inside Texas. Last year with the new defensive coordinator, brought a lot of pressure, finished 10th nationally in sacks, but gave up 32.5 points per game. Will the approach on defense change this year in year 2 or to something more conservative, or will you guys just run it back and look for different results in a different area?
Our system's going to stay the same. Hopefully we can play it better. We need to be a more disciplined defensive football team. I think Coach Knowles' second year will give him a better feel for this league. It's different in our conference. The willingness of head coaches and or offensive coordinators not only trying to score, but trying to score every play. And I think Coach Knowles understands that, maybe more so than last year. You kind of get in a groove in this league and figure it out. But we're going to run the same plays. Hopefully we'll just be better at executing those plays.
Straight back from where you are, Coach, about 8 rows back.
Hey, Mike. Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Last year at Big 12 Media Day, you dropped the news on us that Taylor was your guy at quarterback. Where do you stand now on the quarterback situation? And if you're not ready to name a starter, do you have a sense of timeline at this point?
Whenever we're ready to name a starter based on him earning the job, we'll do that. I think if you look back at my history, we've named guys at times when people didn't think we were going to name a starter because we felt like they earned the job. They gave our team the best chance to be successful and win games. Both guys on our team right now have worked hard. We haven't had anybody go ahead and take the reins at this particular point, so we're obligated for both of them to split reps. If at any particular time one of those guys becomes our starter based on us feeling like they give us the best chance to win a football game, we will name a starter. I would like to give you a timetable, but I would just be reaching. So it just depends on how practice goes in August. I do know this. They've both worked extremely hard. Our team is confident in both young men. If neither one of them gives us any indication that they've taken the job prior to the first game, we'll play both guys. I think that's fair. So at this particular time, we don't have anybody in place for that position, but we'll certainly be looking in August.
Question on the aisle about 3/4 of the way back.
Hey, Mike. John Hoover, the franchise and Sporting News. So I'm asking coaches today about building a culture versus the mental need to win now and save your job. When you got to Oklahoma State, you had a very unique situation. You had to clean a lot of guys out. Talk about your, your mindset back in 2005 of needing to do that versus the balance of building a culture and winning now.
John, I wasn't smart enough to realize how difficult it was to develop a culture, and I never worried about winning now. I had great confidence in Coach Holder and the people that were supporting me, that if we did things the right way, it'd work out. I've said this many times before. As I look back, if I would have realized how difficult it was to get to the position that we are today, I don't know if I would have been able to make some of the decisions that we feel like helped establish a culture at Oklahoma State that's benefited us for a number of years. The win at all cost theory has not ever crossed my mind. That's not something personally that I believe in. I believe in developing young men. I know at times there are people and coaches that might say that, but we back that up at Oklahoma State. That we're in that business right now. We're trying to push young men out of our program, try to make them the best people, and make them the most prosperous in society and the best football players we can, and have a great 4-year career.
We got a question here on the second row on the left-hand side, Coach.
Yeah, John Kurtz with KMAN. Mike, I'm curious, what attributes drew you to Charlie Dickey to make him your new offensive line coach?
I had tried to hire Charlie a few times before, got close. He had great loyalty to Coach Snyder at Kansas State for all the right reasons. The timing worked out perfect for us and for Charlie. And I've said this, that when our coach left, I picked the phone up about 5 minutes later and asked Charlie, and he said he would take the job. We didn't have any other discussions, and he showed up. It's been great for Coach, and it's been great for Oklahoma State.
Question on the aisle on the left side, Coach.
Mike, Randy Peterson from the Des Moines Register in Iowa. Last year in your game, Brock Purdy burst onto the Big 12 scene and national scene to a certain extent, literally just rising from the bench to do so. What was the thought process going on the sidelines when he came in? How much did you know about him going into the game, and just your thoughts on how he played in that game where at a place where Iowa State doesn't usually win?
We didn't know anything about him. Certainly didn't expect for him to get into the game, and thought he played great and continued on and had a very good season. I'm sure Coach would be able to talk more in that direction, but has become a very good player in our conference. Like the long history of the Big 12, we get tremendous quarterback play, and he was very impressive as a young player.
We got a question on the left side, about 3/4 of the way back, Coach.
Coach Parker Fleming with Frogs of War. Just want to ask, quarterback competition aside, what does hiring Sean Gleason bring to your offense? Oklahoma State's strength has always been offense historically, so what new dimensions does he bring? What do you expect to see out of your offense with this new hire from an Ivy League school?
We have the same system. We're going to run the same plays. He's had success with different style of quarterback play. He's had pure drop back quarterbacks. He's had guys that could run around a little bit. He's been in 10 personnel, 11 personnel, 12 personnel. He's played with speed at times. He's young. He's a good technician with quarterbacks. He's got a bright personality. He's good in homes at recruiting quarterbacks. We all know this. You can coach quarterbacks in our conference. If you can't recruit a player to get in our conference and have success, you're not going to be near as good a football coach. And I think he brings all that to the table. He's worked well with our staff. They've taken him in and worked together, and I think he's going to do very well. Only time will tell, but he's got a good relationship with the staff. He's got a good relationship with the quarterbacks at this time.
Question on the fourth row right here in the middle.
Hey, Mike, Suzanne Halliburton, Austin American Statesman. I wanted to ask you about the quarterbacks. It is a quarterbacks league, but it seems to me that of late, this league has had quarterbacks who have either been newcomer transfers or true freshmen who are able to really make a splash. Is there something in the way is that just a coincidence? Or is there something the way that the league plays offense that it's easier for a younger or newcomer to adapt to it?
We haven't been in the transfer business at the quarterback position. Our quarterbacks have been developed in our organization over a number of years. That's been our history for a long, long time. I know there have been a number of quarterbacks across the country transferring to other programs and becoming one-year starters. I can't really speak to that a lot. I know that, ironically, for whatever reason, there have been a number of young men in our league over the last 10 years that have played fantastic at the quarterback position. People can debate that and discuss on either side, but for the most part, I'm going to go back to the head coaches and the offensive coordinators in this league that are willing to do anything it takes to try to score every single play. I just don't think there's an approach like that in any other league, but it's been that way in this league for a long time.
We've got a question on the third row or fourth row on the right in front of you, Coach.
Okay.
Coach Micah Allen, Cowboys Ride for Free. There are a lot of new faces in the Big 12 this year in head coaching spots. What sorts of challenges do you feel like that poses?
for me, for our team, the coaches that are the new coaches in the Big 12, they've been around. We're pretty familiar with those guys. They've been successful at other schools. You know, the one interesting thing in college football, to a certain extent, most teams are doing the same thing scheme-wise, offensively and defensively. Everybody's playing 3 down. Everybody's playing 4 down. If you're not a tight end fullback running team, you're in a spread. You're trying to play action pass. You're trying to play fast and throw it down the field. So there's a lot of similarities, more so than ever, in college football. We Big 12 athletic directors did a good job. They brought some really quality coaches in our league. We're excited to have them, and I don't think there's a lot of secrets out there on what any of us do on either side of the football.
We had a question about 3/4 of the way back on the middle.
Mike, you said in your opening statement that you were more excited about this season than you had been for one in a long time. Can you just drill down on that? Why is that?
We didn't play as well last year as we should have, in my opinion, and that was the result of me not doing my job and holding coaches and players accountable. We weren't a very disciplined football team. We weren't a very tough football team. Those are 2 areas that we can control the outcome. I feel like that we need to be a much more disciplined, physical, tough football team. And so I'm going to make a point, as I did in the spring, and hopefully it carried on this summer when the players are working out, and obviously we're not out there with them, to be a more disciplined, physical football team, and I think that'll help our team. So I'm excited about just seeing the results.
Got a question right here on the outside, 4 rows back.
Kirk Bowles from the Austin American. Mike, Oklahoma's won the league 4 years in a row. Any particular reason for that, and is that good or bad for the league?
Well, they've got good players. They've got the last few years they've had average quarterback play, and they've overcome it. So they've been very successful, and somebody's got to take it from them. That question came up a few years ago about Alabama and the SEC, and my response was, and somebody from another league needs to beat them and take it from them. I think it's the same in dealing with Oklahoma. You like that, didn't you, Barry?
We got a question on the 3/4 of the way back. Hold on.
My follow-ups keep coming in.
Oh my God, Jenny!
Weird time. But you talk about the discipline, and we saw that last year with penalties and different stuff. How do you try to fix that? I mean, obviously you can try to fix it during the season, but it sounds like you're doing some specific things now. Can you kind of give us some insight on that?
I can give you a good illustration. I'll build a picture for you. I'm now currently raising my 3rd child, and the first 2 have said multiple times, if we did what you allow him to do, we would have never made it through the night. And I think that's what happened to me last year in my 14th year. I let little things slide in practice and in meetings and just the overall concept. And as the head coach, my responsibility is to make sure that we do everything perfect all the time. And I didn't do a good job of that. And so the players at times became undisciplined. As coaches, we became undisciplined. So we were an undisciplined organization. And that's why we played the way we did at times last year. I don't think anybody would question that. There was a chance we could have had double-digit wins last year. Now, teams that we beat, they probably look at themselves and say, how did we let that team beat us? So that goes on forever. So just being a more focused and disciplined head coach should make us a better football team this fall.
Anything further for Coach? We got a question about halfway up in the middle.
Is it Jenny again?
No.
Oh.
Hi, Mike. Jason Kersey with The Athletic. You joke about the OU quarterback play, but I'm curious what your thoughts have been from afar, if you have any, about Jalen Hurts and the career he's had so far, and your thoughts about playing him this year.
You know, it would be from afar. I saw him play on games, and like everybody else during his career. I will say that I have a lot of respect for the way he handles himself. I don't know him. He could walk through here, and I wouldn't maybe not even know him if I saw him, but seems to be very humble and very appreciative for his opportunities. And I enjoy watching young men have success and at time maybe having a setback and then coming back and fighting through. And from an outsider looking in, he's done that. And he's a terrific football player. I don't think there's any question about it. And so we're looking forward to playing him. People say, well, that wasn't any fun. You know, we've had a chance to play the last two Heisman Trophy winners and compete against the very best in the game at that particular position and arguably in the country with them winning the Heisman Trophy. So it's exciting for us to try to prepare against the best.
This will be the final question for Coach. Coach on the aisle, halfway back.
Stephen Stevenson, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Coach, I apologize for asking this, but I got to know, how much longer will you have the mullet?
I thought about actually getting a haircut yesterday, but it was Sunday and they were closed. So I decided to go ahead and wing it. I don't know anymore. It's hard for me at times to decide what I'm going to do the next day until I get into the season. So just kind of hang out and go with it, As long as it makes me look a little younger. If somebody said it makes you look old, I'll probably cut it.